When I speak about the unconscious mind, people believe that I am talking about a very abstract thing, something that can only be understood by very developed and elevated people. But the unconscious is something that happens in the lives of all people all the time. As a matter of fact, the unconscious is a material thing. I'm Cavalher. Come with me and understand how the unconscious manifests itself in your life in a concrete way. In the end of this video, you will understand how to change reality itself. A key characteristic of my work with people and companies is that I hate abstract theories that do not apply to reality. For me, consciousness is act. It is obvious. Do you know? So do it. Because if you can't do it, you clearly do not know. There's no debate about it. Therefore, let's go straight to business. After all, if someone makes a video saying that the unconscious is a material thing and is unable to give concrete examples, first of all, the obvious. The unconscious is everything you do not know. For instance, if you do not know how to deal with money, money is unconscious for you, and the probability of having financial problems is extremely high. That small example alone clearly shows us a characteristic of the unconscious mind. Everything you do not know, everything that is unconscious for you, manifests in your life in concrete situations. Evidently, those who don't know how to deal with money won't go through one only financial problem in their lives. Learning a lesson in the first situation that comes by is very rare. As long as you don't know how to deal with money, financial problems will repeat endlessly. Therefore, every time you see a problem repeating over and over again, be sure the unconscious mind is manifesting itself. It repeats the situation until you learn. This repetition of a certain situation evidences another important characteristic of the unconscious mind. The unconscious manifests itself through repetitive patterns of concrete situations that you cannot understand. A second type of material manifestation of the unconscious mind is always attracting the same kind of people to your life. That's you always attracting that boring, impolite, and overbearing boss. That's you always attracting that coward guy. That's you always attracting that woman that tries to control you. That's why they say things such as this one: all men are the same. I myself used to attract needy people who wanted my attention all the time. And the more I cared for them, the more they said I was not dedicating myself enough. As long as you can't learn the lesson the unconscious mind is trying to teach you through these people you are attracting, they will keep coming. And that's another important characteristic of the unconscious mind. The unconscious manifests itself in a concrete way, attracting patterns of people that you do not understand. There is still a third kind of material manifestation of the unconscious mind that is quite common. You behave always the same way. Meaning, every time someone criticizes your work, you are very deeply offended. Every time someone gives you an order, you obey. You are always rational and never show your emotions. I myself believed to be an erudite and would always dedicate myself to studying. I did that for a long time. It is very difficult to understand this kind of material manifestation of the unconscious mind because it is rarely perceived as a problem. Much to the contrary, always behaving the same way is seen as a personality trait that will never change. Besides, our society admires this kind of thing. People who behave always the same way are perceived as authentic and with strong personalities, whereas people who do change are perceived as unstable and untrustworthy. As long as you are attached to your personality, you won't be able to evolve. That's another characteristic of the unconscious mind. The unconscious mind manifests itself in a concrete way, forcing you to have a pattern of behavior, and you perceive that as a personality trait instead of a limitation. At some point, though, you are fed up. You can't continue to live always the same kind of situation, attract the same kind of people, and having the same kind of behavior. At some point, you decide to look at these patterns. That's precisely the moment when consciousness starts to develop. The psychological process works exactly this way. It develops your consciousness about a repetitive pattern that you can't understand. But wait, a repetitive unconscious pattern causes situations that repeat in your life in a concrete, material way. Becoming conscious about this kind of repetitive pattern, learning how to deal with it, makes the pattern go away. If a situation that keeps happening in your life stops to happen in a concrete way, making way for new situations, consciousness development is capable of changing the kind of situation that happens in your life, of changing the reality of your life. That is one of the things that a psychological processes designer does. That's what I do. I teach you how to make repetitive patterns go away and new situations happen. I teach you how to change your material reality.